My unpopular opinion when it comes to the different systems in astrology, such as Vedic astrology, modern Western astrology, traditional Hellenistic astrology, and then they got subsystems also like astrocartography and things like that. Sidereal astrology, you got medical astrology, you got what other you got financial astrology, which I think that falls under modern astrology, but y'all know what I'm trying to say, right? So if you are a student of astrology, if you're a teacher of astrology, whether you're beginner, you're just getting into the information, you're just getting the knowledge, or if you are old vet, you've been in it a long time like me, or if you somewhere in between, you do a little bit of you both, you're a teacher and you're a student. This is just my opinion on what I think about them, which one is better. All right, so the short answer is ain't none of them better than the other. They all do the same shit at the end of the day. That's the short answer. That's my opinion. They all do the same shit. But baby, let me tell you about some of these traditional astrologers I done came across, baby. Them traditional astrologers, some straight up gangsters. They some straight up thugs. They think that modern astrologers is the bald headed stepchildren of astrology, baby. And I get it. I get it. Traditional astrology has been around way, 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 way longer than modern astrology. So I get it. And they have techniques that's in place that modern astrology don't have. They have a system that has been refined over time. So I get it, but baby, let me tell you something. Them traditional astrologers, they be looking down their nose at the modern astrologers like, y'all get everything right. Wrong. I'm sorry, not right. I might have said it right. Y'all get everything wrong. Everything. Now let me just say this. I do a little bit of both. I mix it on in. I'm a New Orleans girl. I mix me up a pot of gumbo, baby. I do a little bit of sidereal. I do a little bit of Vedic. I do a little bit of traditional. I do a little bit of modern. I do it all because like I say, I'm a student and a teacher of astrology. I love it all, and I respect all schools of astrology, and I understand why they differ. And like I said, I understand why some schools of astrology feel that one is better than the other, or one isn't as efficient, or one isn't as accurate. But again, in my opinion, they all do the same shit. They all gonna tell you the same shit, but in a different way and from a different perspective. But baby, like I said, them traditional astrologers, they be like, yeah, if you want to learn real astrology without the producer coming all in the video, singing all over the song, come over to traditional astrology. Baby, I be like, look, I just came here to dance for y'all. That's it. I just look. But you can't tell them traditional astrologers now, baby. They feel like their system is the best. Ain't nothing better. It's been around for a long time. It's the oldest system, etc., etc., etc. But I'm going to give y'all a brief description of how they differ. I ain't going to give y'all the whole history lesson on it. That's going to be a whole hour long. I could be long-winded. That's my Gemini Mars. I could be very long-winded. So I'm going to try to make this video as short as possible. But I just kind of want to touch on briefly how they differ. Now, the thing with Vedic astrology is a whole different tradition within itself that was based in India. That system, also known as Jyotish, has been around for forever, right? And the difference between Western astrology and Vedic astrology, their system is based on how the planets move through the constellations, which is also known as nakshatras. They use yogas, they use dashas, they use timing techniques and so if you want to, like, for me personally, if I want to get like a spiritual reading, I will look at my Vedic chart, my Vedic sidereal chart, because they're kind of similar, even though the Vedic chart uses the West Indian chart, and sidereal still uses the tropical wheel, but they still have well, you can do it where you can use the outer planets. Now, that's another thing about Vedic astrology. They do not use the three amigos. They do not use the three amigos. Baby, let me tell you something. I fucks with the three amigos. You heard me? I fucks with the three amigos, baby. Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. Big Pluto. Oh, yes, baby. I fucks with them. Now, again, if I want a more of a deeper, like if I want to see certain karmas that are playing out in my life, I want more of a spiritual reading, I'm going to look at my North Indian Vedic chart. Now, I'm going to talk about the three amigos in just a minute, but I want to make my point about Vedic astrology. Now, Vedic astrology uses the North Indian chart, and they only use the 7 planets, and they also use the nodes, which is also, they call it Rahu Ketu over there on their side of town, okay? So they use those 9, 7, 8, 9. So they use those 9 planets, which the nodes are not, Rahu Ketu aren't planets, they're mathematical points. So that's how they differ from Western astrology, all right? And again, their system is based on how the planets move through the constellations. And they also, the planets, the signs changes over there also. And the reason why the signs and the planets change over in Vedic astrology is because Vedic astrology is 30 degrees behind Western astrology. So for example, you could be a Leo like me. I'm a Leo. So you could be a Leo in Western astrology, but in Vedic astrology, you could be a Cancer. And that's where the big beef comes in with a lot of people that resonate heavily with Western astrology and their sun sign. And I get it. A lot of people gonna ride hard for their sun sign. I'm a Leo. I've been a Leo my whole life. And you mean to tell me I'm not a Leo over here? I come on y'all side of town and y'all telling me I'm not a Leo, I'm a Cancer? Some bullshit. Now, I am Leo on both. In Vedic, I'm a 0 degree Leo. So I'm a true Leo. And then over in Western, I think I'm like a 27, 28 degree. I know, but I think it's 28 degree Leo sun over in Western. So in both charts, I am Leo. But my planets do change a little bit over in Vedic. My Mars is Taurus, but in Western, I'm a Gemini Mars. My moon is in Capricorn in Western, but over in Vedic, I'm a Sag moon, etc., etc., etc. So my nodes are still the same. I still have the Scorpio Taurus axis in both charts. And I'm a Cancer Saturn in both charts also. So again, your planets will change over in Vedic astrology. And I've met several people that don't like Vedic astrology for the simple fact that they're 30 degrees behind. So it changes your planets, right? But again, depending on what type of chart you need done, what type of reading you need done, and where you are in your life, Vedic astrology might work better for you. And then there's somebody, they just straight Vedic astrologers. They just straight resonate with Vedic astrology. And I get it. And I understand why you have some people that subscribe to Western astrology or even traditional astrology, and they're like, no, I've been a Virgo my whole life. Now you telling me I come to the Vedic reader and you telling me I'm a Leo? I don't like Leos. Leos are some bullshit. You heard me? Yeah, the last dude I dealt with 20 years ago did me so bad, clinked me out, dragged me by the edges. I can't stand Leos. They ain't nothing. And I you mean to tell me I am the sign that I hate? Like I've heard that. Like literally heard that, right? But that is how Vedic astrology differ. Now, traditional astrology is similar to modern astrology, but traditional astrology, they use the 7 planets also, but they still. Now, let me say this, and then I'm going to make my point about traditional astrology. Western astrology, their system is based on how the planets revolve around our sun, which is why it's called tropical, because the planets revolve around our sun in a tropical system. I'm not tech savvy, and I wish I had an example I can show you guys on how it differs, how the ellipse the so if I was tech savvy and I could put it up here on the screen like some of these other amazing YouTubers up here, I can show you guys the difference. So let's just say this is the sun, and then y'all love me through it. Vedic astrology elliptical system will be like this, right? A little further out, it would be like this. So that's why their planets sit 30 degrees behind Western. But Western's elliptical is kind of like this, right? Like this, kind of like a little bit of tilted, but it's kind of like this, y'all. But there's the system, the Western system, tropical system, shows how the planets revolve around our solar system again, which is why it's called tropical, and which is why we have the 4 seasons, and which is why we have the in traditional 7 planets, and in modern 10 planets. So you will add in, so that's where traditional and modern will differ, because traditional only uses the 7 original planets, and then modern, they use the 3 amigos, right? All right, y'all walk with me, stick with me. I hope I ain't lost nobody yet. Now, you know, I'm a little rusty with my teaching skills, but stick with me. I'm gonna land my plane. Now, where traditional and modern differs. Some of the examples can be traditional use lots, modern uses asteroids. So lots can be a lot of spirit, a lot of eros, for example. And then in modern, they use Chiron and Lilith and a few other asteroids. I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head. But so that's where traditional and modern can differ also, as far as the planets, how they use the planets, and of course they use the outer planets as well. They also have, like in traditional astrology, they have different timing techniques that they use that can provide more accuracy in a reading, like timing in marriage, timing in childbirth, and things like that. They have progressive charts that traditional astrologers use. Now, modern astrologers have techniques also, but if you want more of a psychological reading, you want to know more about yourself and things like that, modern astrology is good. But like if you want to do like your progressive chart, then you might want to do traditional astrology. And also, I think I said already, Vedic astrology also has some amazing timing techniques also. So trying to think of anything else I can kind of pull out the top of my head that makes them differ. Now, this is my personal, and again, this is my personal opinion. That's just some facts about those systems. And then you got other little subsystems like astrocartography. Not saying that you can't get certain readings from Vedic astrology when it comes to relocating, but astrocartography is going to be more of a modern technique that modern astrologers use to pinpoint what would be the best move for you as far as love and finding a career or whatever, retirement. You know, because some people, they want to retire and they be like, hey, I want to leave where I was. I raised my family. I retired. What's the best place for me to move? Things like that. Any which ways. This is my whole thing, y'all, with all it is. And I've come across some traditional astrologist pages that are like extremely radical, extremely inflexible, and they're like, nope, traditional astrologer is the end all be all. It is the best. It is better than all these other systems. And again, my opinion and my opinion only, they all gonna tell you the same shit, just in a different way from a different perspective. Depending on where you are in your life and what kind of reading you need is really going to help you decide what type of astrologer you're going to go to. according to what type of reading that you need. Now, me personally, all of the clients who I do, all of the natal charts that I do a lot of shadow work. I do a lot of healing work. I do a lot of spiritual work, and I do a lot of shadow work. So not traditional, modern astrology works better for me as far as that, because when I add in the three amigos, I'm able to see stuff in a person's chart that I probably couldn't see if I use the traditional chart, right? What else can I say about it? But yeah, it just depends on, where you are in your life and what type of reading that you need. Now, let me say this about all of them. I said already that they all, depending on what type of reading you need, depending on where you are in your life, will determine what type. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. I had lost my train of thought. All of the people that come to me are karmically assigned to me. First and foremost. So I'm not out here like promoting, oh, I'm a modern astrologer and Vedic astrology. Don't go and get your Vedic chart done because your planets are going to change. I never tell people that. I never tell people don't go to traditional astrology, don't go to Vedic astrology, because they do things differently. That's the whole point. They're supposed to do things differently. If you want to know what's going on your Vedic chart, go and I've got my Vedic chart done. And yes, my planets differ in the chart, but it still resonates. My Vedic chart resonates. My modern chart resonates. My traditional chart resonates. I've gotten all of them done. So I don't understand why some astrologers in particular don't like this school of astrology. We all have a preference. Just like some people don't eat pork. You ain't gonna go to certain places if you don't eat pork, or if you're a vegan. You ain't gonna go to certain places if you vegan. So I get it. I get that we all have a preference, but I just like to tell people, don't be confused and don't let other people's opinion confuse you about which one is better, because ain't none of them better. They all are the same. And let me just say this. Let me throw y'all off. Let me stress y'all out real quick. Now, traditional astrology was developed or discovered or whatever. The olden people came out with traditional astrology ages ago, right? Eons ago. But they only used the 7 planets because they didn't have the technology to see beyond Jupiter, Saturn, I believe. They could not see beyond Jupiter and Saturn. And it wasn't until the early 1700s is when Uranus was discovered. And when Uranus was discovered, it was because of the invention of the telescope. And then when a telescope was invented, Uranus was discovered by accident, which is so Uranus because Uranus is accidents and Uranus is modern technology and futuristic technology. Uranus is technology, period. So Uranus being discovered before Pluto and before Neptune is so Uranus, right? So that's why Uranus is considered the oldest planet when it comes to modern technology. And then later on, they discovered Neptune and then Pluto. Pluto is the baby of the family, and Pluto acts just like the baby of the family. Everybody know a baby of the family. You who's watching this might be the baby of the family. Y'all know how the babies of the family are. They hell. The mama probably had 5, 6 other kids before the baby came, and they all turned out all right. They went on to college. They got good jobs. They got married, lived happily ever after. But the baby was the one that created all kinds of what's in life. They did everything. Like, I don't know, I raised this child. I didn't raise this child like that. All my other kids turned out all right. This one right here, I don't know why I went wrong with this one right here. I don't know what happened. I did my best. That's what Pluto is a tramp, baby. Pluto will get you gathered. Pluto will gather you up, baby, and drag you by the edges and be like, look, we ain't doing that over there no more. We switching it up. You're like, but I'm not ready to switch up. I'm not ready. You're like, did I ask? I didn't ask if you was ready. I said, we gonna move. We are gonna move and stop doing this over here, stop doing that over there. That's why Pluto be so disrespectful, man. Pluto in the chart, baby, is so disrespectful, and they do some good things, you know what I'm saying? But baby, Pluto can just whew, especially if you ruled by Pluto like me. Okay, now traditional astrologers, don't come for me. I know the traditional ruler of Scorpio is Mars, but the modern one is Pluto. If you want to do both, because I do both. Okay, don't you come for me in the comments, traditional astrologers. Love y'all though, love y'all down. I respect y'all knowledge and y'all wisdom. I respect it all. But like I said, I do a little bit of everything. But any which ways, before traditional astrologers and Vedic astrologers knew about the big three, the three amigos, that don't mean that those planets wasn't sitting out there. Them planets was sitting out there chilling. Just because y'all didn't know about the people, the ancestors who created traditional astrology and Vedic astrology, the only reason why they didn't use those three planets is because they did not know about them. They were still sitting out there chilling, doing their job. They ain't just start doing their job all of a sudden. They been doing their job. We just didn't know about it until they discovered telescopes. So, you know, now here come modern astrology, want to come to the party. You know, they poly and shit. They want to join in and have some fun. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Don't pay me no mind. Don't pay me no mind. I'm sorry. Let me get myself together. For real. But, you know, the three amigos was out there chilling, doing their job. You feel me? But yeah, so before traditional astrology could use those planets, they couldn't because they didn't know they was out there. But again, there are some amazing techniques that both Vedic astrology and traditional astrologers use that are accurate, that works. And at the end of the day, it don't matter what astrology you go to, what a school of astrology you resonate with. Baby, listen, as long as you get you a fire-ass astrologer that know their shit, that's all that matters. If you want to go to traditional, you want to go to Vedic, you want to go to modern, or you want to do all three like me, like I say, now listen, let me say this about me. My chart has heavy Gemini influence, heavy Mercurian influence. So I'm all about information. I'm very flexible. I'm all about getting all the information and then deciding which one I want to go with. So that's why I went down a rabbit hole, and then I did a video. I only got like 10, 15 subscribers. So maybe 5 of y'all saw my other video when I talked about how I got started on my astrology journey. And I actually got started with Vedic astrology, and I got certified in Vedic astrology, but I was led to do modern astrology. But I do blend all of them because of all of the knowledge that I have. Like, it would be unfair for me to dismiss all of the knowledge and all of the information that I learned about Vedic astrology and just say, okay, I'm gonna just completely debunk Vedic astrology and just stick with modern. No. But I get, you know, like, there's an astrologer that I follow on YouTube, and I'm gonna say her name, Joni Patri. I really love Joni Patri. There's a few other Vedic astrologies that I absolutely love that I follow on here too, like Raj Kapil. He's another one that I follow on here. But I'm using Joni Patri for example because she started out Western, and then she switched over to Vedic, and she tells her own story about how and why she switched over. And I understand and I get it. I ain't convicted, not yet. I'm not completely convicted. So, you know, there's that. I created my own system and my own technique that I use, and it's been working for me for the past 20 years. I haven't missed yet. Do I get nervous before every reading? Absolutely. Hell yeah, I get nervous because when I see stuff and people try, I be like, ooh, damn, clutches my imaginary pearls. And then I see some good stuff, and then when I come to them with what I saw and they say yes, you're right, you're accurate, I'm like, whew, I got it right. So for now, I'm sticking with my system. I'm sticking with my technique until the ancestors and the spirits tell me to switch it up. So, you know, like I said, I've come across other astrologers, constituents that do other school of astrologies, and they don't always do stuff like I do it. They do stuff different from what I do it, but I respect them and I look up to them like, wow, I love how you broke that down. I love how you did this, and I love how you did that, and in the same. So yeah, but yeah, baby, listen, let me tell you something. I fucks with Pluto. I fucks with Neptune and Uranus. Okay? And listen, you don't know how many women, I'm gonna say men too, how many middle-aged people came to me and said, what's going on with me? I turned 40 and all of a sudden this started happening to me. I'm like, child, you're just going through your Uranus opposition. That's what you're going through. Midlife crisis came from Uranus opposition. So I am not about to stop teaching people how to navigate through their Uranus opposition. Uranus opposition? What? Baby, I'll do it. If y'all want me to, I'll do another separate video on what I went through. Surviving Uranus opposition. That's a good one right there. Surviving Uranus opposition. Yes, that's a good one, baby. Baby, let me tell you. Come here. Let me tell y'all about what happened to me when I went through my Uranus opposition. How could you not? How could you not fuck with Uranus? How? Like the astrologers who completely debunk. If you don't even want to fuck with Neptune and Pluto, I feel you, bro. But baby, when you mean to tell me when Uranus hits that opposite point of your natal Uranus and shit go haywire for you, you can't tell me. You can't tell me nothing. And like I say, I don't know how many people that came to me and be like, girl, I need you to look at my chart soon. Before they even tell me, I'm like, how old are you? You 38, 39? Mm-hmm. Yep. Uranus opposition. It's going on in your 7th house. Mm-hmm. Yep. Boom, 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 boom. They come back to me 2-3 years later like, girl, everything you said and started happening. And the thing about Uranus opposition, and I'm kind of going off the subject a little bit, but I'm just using it as an example. The thing about Uranus opposition, everything that is meant to happen in that area of your life don't happen all at once, right? It's not like you wake up and boom, your whole entire life falls apart. You got to keep in mind, Uranus is a slow moving planet. It is the slowest moving planet in the zodiac. It takes like 92 years to transit the zodiac. So, and it stays in one sign for like 7.5 years. So you're going to have that shadow period. You're going to have the actual duration of the transit, and then you're going to have the pre-shadow and a post-shadow period, right? So some stuff might happen before, some stuff might happen during, some stuff might happen the first couple of years of your Uranus opposition, some might happen to the latter part of it, right? Just depending on the degree of your Uranus, your natal Uranus. So anyway, I went off on a tangent a little bit, but I just had to make my point of how, we all have different perspectives when it comes to how we use astrology. As long as you, like I said, as long as you're using it for good, me personally, like I said, I use it mostly to help individuals with shadow work. I'm going to say most of my clientele is women. I know that I am called to help heal the feminine collective. So yes, most of my clients is women. However, I do have some men. I have a lot of gay men and I have a lot of trans women, which makes sense because they are trying to heal that feminine aspect of themselves. So that falls under that feminine, me doing that work to help heal feminine collective. I've had the only way a man will be led to me, and I said earlier that all of my clients are karmically led to me and karmically tied to me. The only way a man will come to me and get a reading from me if he's trying to heal his feminine womb, aka his mother womb. If he's trying to heal that, then he'll come to me and get a reading from me. But for the most part, it's mostly gay men, trans women, and women that come to me. So Any which ways, anything I left out, you guys, anything, listen, Linda, listen. I'm a baby on here. I'm struggling. So if you like the content and you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing. If not, just hit the like button. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. Do you study astrology? Do you teach astrology? Are you an astrologer yourself? Let me know your thoughts. Of course, comment constructively. Don't be disrespectful, nothing like that, because I'm gonna block your ass. All right, but yeah, I would love to hear y'all thoughts. I would love to know how y'all feel about, you know, all of this. And what else can I think of? Nothing off the top of my head. However, if anything else comes up, I'll just do another video for y'all. All right, any which ways, I hope this helps someone. I hope this bless someone. Y'all have a beautiful, fabulous, and fantastic day. Toodles.